Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
I'm Nicole.
And I'm Dale, life coach and Life Path Master 11.
And welcome to
It's So Universal. Everything, love over everything.
And you keep hurting me, and you just keep doing it, and then you turn around and say you're sorry, and then you do it again.
People use sex to make you like a, the man. So you shouldn't do that. Oh, stronger. When it's my person.
Before we give it up secrets about ourselves, don't do that. Okay. Today's topic is about accountability.
Accountability. And we're just going to start out by saying just simply be accountable. And it's not hard to be accountable. Just own your shit.
Right.
That's just plain and simple.
Exactly.
Own your shit, And it's easier a lot of times it's easier said than done, because we find ourselves a lot of time when you're not wanting to be accountable, you're in the hot seat, and you may feel like you're in the hot seat. You're feeling pressure. You're feeling like I always look at it like this. I'm a grown adult. I am responsible for my actions and what I say. I'm responsible for that. And whether it's too good or bad, only one, who's going to hurt me for not being responsible, accountable for my actions? No one. The only person that's going to hurt in the long run is yourself.
Right.
So it's best to take ownership for what you do. What you do, and as well as what you don't do.
Exactly. It's just, as we get older, we have to learn how to basically own the things that we do or don't do in life. You can't really be successful just always putting it off on somebody else or blaming others for your actions. You just need to take accountability for your actions. Whatever you do, be responsible for that, good or bad. And you let the chips fall where they may at the end of the day.
That's why you want to be always doing good, because the laws of the universe is you reap what you sow. What you put out, you will get back. So you want to find yourself doing good things and be just doing good, doing what you would want people to do you and treat you. Do that so that you can get that back.
Right.
You want people to treat you good, so be good to others. You want people to be accountable for what they say and how they treat you, so you take ownership of how you treat and what you do and say to others as well.
Right.
That just makes the world, around you better, and everybody that you deal with and who you involved with, it just makes them trust you, be able to trust you, and it's not a bad thing, because it's just whatever. If they trust you, they know what you're capable of doing.
Right.
So you just want to be responsible for your actions.
Yeah, and it's you should always strive to do the right thing. You should always strive to do the right thing. Now, we know sometimes people don't do that, and that's where you suffer those consequences behind the actions that you take. So my thing is, if you find yourself not quote unquote doing the right thing, you see that there's consequences behind those actions, it's okay to just stop and say, okay, yeah, I messed up. I was wrong, whatever the case may be. And whatever happens at the end of the day, but you at some point have taken accountability for your actions.
A lot of times what people do is they start to feel guilty and feel guilty for their actions, or they didn't mean to do it. Well, it's easy to fix that just by going and repairing it. just say that you were wrong, or say that, you know, you didn't mean to do. Apologize.
Apologies,
You know,
yeah.
forgive and move on. You know,
Right.
just be accountable. You know, of your actions. Take ownership of it. Because like I was in a relationship, and I feel like there is no need for you to lie to me. There is no need for me to lie to you. Because at this point in my life, if you still feel like you have to lie
Right.
in relationships,
Right.
you know, what kind of relationship is that? You know, if I
Right.
can't be honest with you about whatever it is,
Exactly.
you know,
Yeah.
we might as well just squash that, you
Right.
know, and end that. Because, you know, at this point, and who's gonna whip me?
Right. Exactly.
You know, so who's gonna whip you? So just be honest about it. Be honest with your partners and your you know, we're human. So everything that we try to do good, but you don't always, you know, some people don't have a balance. They're not completely balanced.
Right.
And so sometimes they overdo some things, or, you know, they just go too far. And it's okay to say, I apologize, I was wrong.
Right.
Forgive me.
Exactly.
It, you know, that shows that you are evolving when you
Right.
can do that, and then move past it, grow from it, learn from it. Then you'll find yourself not in those predicaments where you have to continue to apologize for the same thing.
Right, exactly. And sometimes I think that taking accountability it's taking accountability for your actions sometimes takes a soul introspection. So you looking inward into yourself about certain things about yourself that may not be all the way great, you know, and to you think it's fine, but to other people it, you know, it could cause them to feel a certain type of way about certain things that you do. So sometimes if, like, even if someone comes to you and tells you that, like, you know, sits you down and communicates with you, your actions when you do X, Y, and Z makes me feel X, Y, and Z. And we as human beings have a tendency to get defensive instead of sitting and thinking about it and being like, okay, yeah, I can see
How that
might make you feel that way. But I think we just always get in our heads on the defense about certain things because we just aren't ready to face that maybe that person is right about something
about the
us.
situation,
Yeah.
about you.
Exactly.
And sometimes you can be feeling like you're trying to do right, and you know you did wrong. You know, fix that. You know, it's just repair that, repent and fix that. You know, and then that way, true repentance, and when you really, really want to be forgiven, and you won't do that thing again that offends someone else again. You really won't do that because you don't want to hurt anybody. You don't want to go around hurting anyone. You want to do everything that you do in love.
Right.
You know, you want to flow in love, operate in the frequency and vibration of love. And not in fear. You know, and fear is the lowest frequency. And when you're operating in fear, you're being controlled by your feelings and your thoughts. So you just have to let that go and just walk in love and just let love flow through you. Be the vessel that love is flowing through.
Right.
And it won't be hard to repent, and it won't be hard to say I was wrong. Because a lot of time we get in our thoughts and we get into I was you know, this, that, and the third, and we really think that we're right. And when someone sits you down and talk to you about it, and when you get into your quiet place or you talk to yourself about it, you know you're wrong.
You know you're wrong, yeah. We always want to have a justification for our actions because, I mean, nobody just truly, it doesn't feel good to be, in yourself, you know you're wrong. And then you have to sit and take accountability for your wrong. Does not feel good. It feels, you feel guilty, you feel burdened, it feels heavy. So that's why people have a tendency, instead of just owning it and dealing and sitting with what that feeling is, they deflect and they project it onto someone else, and they get in defense mode, and it becomes
An
argument instead of, okay, maybe let me sit with this. It doesn't feel good. You know, those darts come hitting you does not feel good. But okay, let me just sit with it, and maybe they're right. And you know deep down in yourself that that's what you did was wrong. So, you know, just own it and deal with that.
And a lot of times arguments happen because the people don't want to be accountable for how they made someone feel, or
yeah.
you know, they don't want to be accountable for that, because deep down in the inside, they know.
Right.
You know if you have offended someone.
Right.
You know if you said something about someone that wasn't true.
Yeah.
You know if it wasn't true, and it makes, because you want to be right.
Mm-hmm.
You will justify that argument or your stance, and keep on and knowing that you're wrong,
Right.
instead of just letting it go and saying, you know, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it for a moment. It only makes you a better person.
Mm-hmm.
Makes you a better person. Then people would want to be around you without feeling the tension, because that energy just builds up, and that tension builds up, and then people will start not wanting to be around you. Now, if you
Right.
have a lot of fake people around you and that's just how you vibe, that's fine.
Right.
But you won't have true peace.
Right.
Because it's all just pretentious. You
Right.
know, this is not.
It's not real.
It's not real anyway.
Right.
So you're just living in a false reality,
Mm-hmm.
in a false sense of, a false state. And you want peace, and you want harmony. You want everything to flow. You want it, when you're around people, you want it to be in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
So
You want it to flow.
you want it to
yeah.
flow, and you don't want to have all this, because that energy is thick.
Mm-hmm.
It's thick, and people lie to themselves and to just for the sake of feeling so they can be right.
Right.
But
Yeah.
why do you have to be right?
I mean, it's not to me, it's irrelevant. My thing is this, because I've had to own my stuff in my own personal life, in times past. And to me, it's better for you to do that, because my thing is, you're only hurting yourself. You're not, the other person is going to feel what they feel, and you're not going to change their feelings, especially if they know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some people are good at gaslighting other people into thinking that, no, this is not this, that, and the third, but that's just a person that's manipulative. But it's going to help you in the long run to just own up to your wrongdoing or whatever, and be accountable for that and take responsibility for that. And because that just helps you evolve as a person, and it helps you feel better as a person. And the guilt, when you take accountability for it, the guilt goes away.
And it's all what we were talking about in our last podcast about the chakra system. That is a big part of your chakras, your heart chakra. You automatically, you will feel that. That's the energy. You feel the energy when you're walking in, when you walk in a room, when you feel the resistance that people have towards you, or you feel it towards them because of the things that you said that were not wrong, or the way you've treated them. You want to walk in freedom. There's liberation in being accountable for what you do. There's liberty in that. There's nothing to hold you down. There's no extra weight
Right.
to hold you down because of that. It's heavy, and you just got to let it go.
Yeah.
Be accountable for it, accept it, and move on.
And move on.
And
yeah.
move on, because the mind is tricky. The things that we tell ourselves, we hear it first, and when we start to believe that, and we can tell ourselves a lie for so long, and you start to believe it, then you really believe in that lie,
Right.
you know, and
The lie becomes the truth.
then it becomes the truth in your reality, and then you start to think that that's really the truth, but nobody else sees that but you.
Right.
So everybody else sees the truth, what's the truth.
Right.
And you know, so just be accountable for it, so you can just move past and let that's a burden that you don't need, and it keeps you in balance.
Exactly. Definitely. It's a freedom in just being accountable for your actions. And sometimes this is like, I think sometimes we do things to affect other people that we aren't aware, that sometimes we're not aware that our actions are affecting them in a certain type of way. But so when they come to you and talk to you about it, it's just, you know, if they come to you and talk to you about it, it's just better to just listen sometimes. And like for me, I'll just take myself for an example. Sometimes if like say, I'll just say my kids come to me and say, Mama, da 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 da, something you did, da da da, because that's the kind of relationship we have. I don't always say anything. Like I just sit there and listen to what they say, and then I just say, okay, you know, because I'm taking it in and I'm digesting
And processing
what they said. So I don't want to just speak automatically off the top of my head, because then that just means I'm speaking out of my defense mode.
on defense, and a lot of times that's how arguments start.
Right. And so I'll just sit and listen and say, okay. And sometimes people don't like that because they want you to react, but I'm not I have to digest it. I have to process it, because I'm not going to just react. Because if I react, then it's just going to start back and forth. And it doesn't matter at the end of the day. When somebody feels like you've done something to them, you can say anything you want to say, and it's not going to satiate them feeling what they feel.
Right.
So it's better just to sit and be quiet and listen to what they say, and digest it. If you have to walk away after thinking about it, walk away, come back, and say, okay, I thought it over. You know, I apologize for making you feel X, Y, and Z, whatever the case may be, and go on from there. So
I have a lot of I process things differently. So it takes me a long time to process things, because I process it and then I reprocess it.
Yeah.
So I circle back to conversations and to events often. Not all the time intentionally,
Right.
but it's just the way that I process it. We can have a conversation and then could have had a conversation the last time we visited, and then I'm still thinking about it 2 or 3 days later.
right.
You know. And then I'll come back and say, this, that, and the third, and I apologize or whatever, or, but a lot of times when we're in that moment and you respond, you're just deflecting, you're just reacting off of your emotions, and a lot of times you're feeling like you're up against the wall, and you're feeling like you have to defend yourself.
Right.
You don't.
You don't.
You don't. You just,
don't.
the main part is just listening to the person that you're talking to. Listen to what they're saying.
What they're saying, yeah.
Digest, process it. Then you can respond in a way that you both walk away with your integrity intact.
Exactly, yeah. And you can respond. The response is better when you take the time to process the information, because if you are just spitting out, you're out of your defense mechanism, your defense mode, then the issue at hand is not really being addressed.
It's not.
And most of the time, it just adds more issues and layers on top of it. And
because in the heat of it, there's other things being said.
right, exactly.
So you're just building
Building it up,
layers.
exactly. So it's best to just take the information, process it, and I know that's easier said than done sometimes, especially in the heat of a conversation or a heat of
or
argument
in
or whatever.
and someone's accusing you or something.
Right, yeah.
Nobody wants to be falsely accused of anything. So the natural response is
To defend yourself.
defend yourself.
Yeah.
But you don't always have to defend yourself, and you don't always have to be right, because sometimes if you listen to the other person, a lot of times it's just a misunderstanding.
Right.
So it's something that can be resolved if you just listen. Take the
Right.
time to listen. Value one another enough to listen to them, hear them out.
Right.
Respect what they're saying.
Right.
Give them the opportunity to say how you made them feel,
Right.
instead of reacting back to it. Process it and then move on.
Move on.
But sometimes people won't allow you that.
Sometimes
And
they
they
won't,
keep on. Then you find yourself where you in an argument, a blow up argument, in the heat of the moment, and you constantly saying things. Those are people like that are low vibrational people, and there's not a lot you can do. It's not
You can't
about
argue
you
with
can't argue with people like that. You just have to know when to walk away. And at that point, you no matter what you say, you're going to be wrong. So
Yeah.
there's no reason to try to reason with that person. Just walk away and cut your losses, because you have to let go of things that don't serve you, so that you can receive and make room for what inspires you.
Exactly. Yeah. And to me, it's like in accountability, that word I've been hearing a lot. Sometimes it's like buzzwords that go around all over the place, and it's like, I feel like when it comes to taking accountability for your actions, sometimes it's about not even so much about what you do, what you may have done to others. It could be just your own actions that you take in your own personal life. So you're making certain types of, you have a certain pattern in your life that every time you do a certain thing, you get this kind of result, and you keep doing that certain thing. Well, you have to at some point step back and take accountability and say, I keep doing this, and this is the result I keep getting from what I'm doing. So I need to check myself and why I'm doing this, and take accountability and stop doing that particular thing, because it's not, especially if it's not serving you in any way. If it's not bringing anything into your life, don't keep doing that. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And basically, if you keep doing that same thing over and over again, you're going to keep getting the same outcome. So sometimes you just have to take accountability for what you're doing. And sometimes we're doing these things for reasons that we don't even know. Traumas that we have that we don't realize. So figure that out, and then, take accountability for it and try to move that energy out of your life.
Right.
Because you don't want to keep doing that over and over again. So.
And that is true, because you can set goals and you're trying to reach your goals, but if you're setting goals and you're trying to reach these goals, your intentions are to, say for instance, make $10,000 in 2 months. Okay, if you're not getting up and setting your intentions and making headway to doing that, and you're getting up, watching television, not getting after it,
right,
just doing everything the opposite, you're accountable. You have to take accountability, because the only person that's stopping you from reaching that goal
is you.
The only one that's in the way is you. No one else's fault. Is you. You're the one that's stopping. So you have to break the chains and the cycles that you continue to do, and start doing something different.
Right.
So that then you can see, and even if you want to have someone to help you be accountable, get a accountability partner where someone says, okay, it's time for this, or set your phone to remind you it's time to do this, it's time to do this, so you can keep moving forward, making forward progress. Otherwise, you'll sit stagnant,
Right.
and no one's to blame but you.
But you.
And you
That's
have
right.
to be accountable for that.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Nobody's to blame but yourself. And then you're looking up in your goal that you want, you haven't achieved it because you're not moving in that direction.
You're not making the forward progress
Yeah.
to get there. You're not getting up, hitting the streets. You're not making the calls. You're not doing taking the necessary steps to get you from A to Z.
Right. Exactly. Definitely. Yeah. So, that being accountable for yourself, for your actions, for your life is important. And sometimes it's difficult for people to do that, but it's really, it's all a part of evolving and growing as a person. So,
And you have to make up your mind that this is something that you want to do. You want to be a better person. You want to be the better you.
Right.
The better
best version of yourself.
the best version of you. You want that that should be a goal. And if you want to make those self-improvements, these are things you have to set intentions to start to doing.
Right.
For yourself.
For yourself. Exactly. Definitely. Yeah. So, trying to think of anything.
I've had a lot of experiences where I have not been in situations where I was not accountable for my actions, and I was accused of not being accountable for my actions, and there were situations where I was in that I felt the other person or the other party was not accountable for their action. Everything was my fault, and I felt like things that I've done, I've apologized for, but why do we have to keep on going, circling back
to
and
it, right.
coming back to it, and with no resolution? Either you didn't accept my apology, or your mind keeps replaying something that your heart won't forgive.
Right.
So it's either you're going to forgive me and let's move forward, or you're going to just be stuck there.
Exactly.
So then that's a time when you have to let go of things that don't serve you. Because if
Exactly.
we have to keep reliving this, otherwise there's a block somewhere. So we got to get past that.
And that's the thing. It's like for me, I know that some things that I've done in my life, and I have taken responsibility for my actions. And once I have done that, and I have made the necessary repairs or try to do my best to make the necessary repairs to that relationship, apology, transparency, because that's a big thing too.
Yes, transparency.
Transparency is
big
a
thing.
huge thing. And once I've done that, and the other person still can't get past it, then that is no longer a me problem. That's their problem.
And they're trying to make it a you problem by constantly bringing it back up. But then at some point, I'm sure it becomes toxic.
Oh yeah.
Because
if you let it.
if you allow it.
Yeah.
That's why I said you have to remove those things that no longer serve you, because then your environment will be toxic. And at that point, toxic is a poison. It festers inside of you, and then you got to just get rid of that. You just got to get rid of it, because if it's not serving you, there's no need of holding on to it.
Exactly. And that's the thing. It's like if you
And
know.
I'm serving. I mean, and I'm not talking about I'm talking about things and people, not
Right.
not just people,
Right.
things and people that
Right.
no longer serve you.
Right. And my thing is, if you know that, if you are the kind of person that that you've done all you can do to make amends, so to speak, or take accountability for your actions, and again, that other person doesn't receive that, or is still stuck in a a loop of their own, then it's incumbent upon you as the person to remove yourself from that relationship. Maybe that relationship, whatever kind of relationship it is, it can be a friendship, it can be a romantic relationship, it can be siblings, it can be job, it can be anything. It's up to you.
Family.
Right, family. Be anything to remove yourself from that relationship, because you don't have to because that becomes abuse after a while, and you want to remove yourself from an abusive situation. You don't want to be a part of taking the brunt when you have done all that you know that you have done to take responsibility for your actions.
That's right.
That's just, like I said, it becomes no longer a you problem, it's a their problem.
Right.
But you have to know that for yourself, and a lot of times people don't, and that's the sad part about it, because that's why I said you have to uproot the guilt and just deal with yourself, and be transparent, do apology, do whatever you have to do to get rid of that guilt, because people play on people's guilt all the time.
Emotions, yes.
And you don't have to, if you know deep down in your heart that you have done everything you can to make amends, don't let people make you feel guilty.
No, don't let, because you don't deserve that. No, you don't deserve to have to. That's torture. You don't have to sit there. You don't deserve that.
Because it's about forgiveness, and
It's about forgiveness.
If you've forgiven yourself and they can't forgive you, then that's
not
on you.
on you. You've forgiven them. You've forgiven yourself, and they can't get past it. That is no longer your problem. Long as you've done the necessary, forgiving yourself and forgiving them, and you've done what you need to do. So it's not your problem any longer.
Exactly. Yeah.
That becomes them. And people, it's easy for people to try to draw you in and make you feel like it's your fault.
Yeah.
It's easier. You're the blame. That's because they don't want to be accountable for their actions. So that it's easy to point the finger at you and to make you their scapegoat for how they're feeling.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, it's always easier for somebody else to point the finger at you. And that's sad to me, a person that does that, because I just don't think you can really move forward in life.
You can't.
When you do that to people.
You can't.
You just can't.
There's no true happiness there, because that kind of person goes from one person to the next person with that same energy.
Exactly.
And there's no forward progress, because every relationship would end the same.
Right.
It's always going to have the same results in every relationship. And what you want is peace.
Right.
You want peace. You want happiness.
Yeah.
You want to be able to be free.
Exactly.
From all of that.
From all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to live a full life, a happy life, a peaceful life, and you don't want all that toxicity in your life.
Yes. It's entirely too much toxicity, and that's just an environment to fester inside of your body.
Right.
That you don't need, because all the toxic creates an unhealthy environment in your body, and it's just like stress.
Exactly.
So you want to eliminate that. You want to eliminate stress. You want to eliminate toxicity.
Yeah, you do. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, and so it's just very important to be mindful, and it's important to be mindful as you moving through life. Period. I mean, be mindful of what you do and your actions towards others, because you don't.
What goes around comes around.
Right.
You reap what you sow.
Right. If what you put out comes back to you.
Comes back.
And so and sometimes that's easier said than done too, because especially if you feel like you're done wrong or somebody has done you wrong, you want to be careful what you say, how you speak, what you put out against that, because you don't want that stuff bouncing back to you.
And it does. It comes back to you. So you want to let your words be words of good, words of peace. Don't wish anything bad on anyone, because it comes out of your mouth first. You hear it first, and you hear it first, and it comes back to you first.
Right, exactly.
It'll come back to you.
To you, yeah.
You know, and you don't want to. It's self-debauchery. You don't want to do that to yourself.
Right.
You know.
Exactly. Yeah, you definitely don't. You do not want that.
So that's negative energy that
Right.
you can put out in the universe to come back to
Right.
that will come back to you.
Right.
Because that's why you always wish people good things, because you want good to come back to you.
Right.
You want to reap good.
Good, yeah.
You want to keep a high vibration, keep your vibration. And if you're wishing something bad or negative to someone, that shows what frequency you're on, and that's a very low frequency, low vibration, and you don't want to be operating in low vibration. Actually, it's going to be a split in the universe, and from 3D to 5D, and you don't want to be stuck in 3D because there's no peace there.
Right.
You know, you're mentally still in your head and in your thoughts. You want to go up to a higher frequency.
Right. Yeah.
And vibrate love.
Right.
Let that be your vibration, frequency of love.
Love. Right. Exactly. Definitely.
And love of everything. When you can see love in everything and put love in everything, you'll be raising your vibration.
Right.
Guys got to watch that our last podcast on the chakra systems. It was very good.
Yes.
So you need
definitely.
to make sure you see that. Like, share, and subscribe now.
Right. Exactly. Definitely. Yeah.
So yeah, do you have any experience of in relationships where you were accused of not? Because I know that's something that's been going around on social media, that women are not
Being accountable?
Yeah.
Have I had anyone say that I haven't been accountable for my actions? Oh yeah. I mean, that's why I said I'm always a thinker. I'm a thinker of the things that I do. I'm mindful of what I do. But I feel like the times that I've been accused of not being accountable were a deflection for somebody else. They were just deflecting their stuff onto me, because I know, I take ownership for my stuff. And so, and maybe, maybe in times past, maybe not always, just thinking, but and if I did, it's like charge it to my head and not my heart type of thing. Because it's really not, honestly, it's not something, I don't do things on purpose to hurt people intentionally. It's never my intention to do, it's not like a conscious thought that I'm doing, like I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, and that's going to cause pain and hurt and whatever to someone else. That's never an intention of mine. So it's like, if it happens, it's like, okay, when you come to me and you say that, then that's why I have to search myself, because I have to search out and say in my heart, like, okay, was that an intentional thing? No, of course not. And then I move forward with my apologies and whatnot. But yeah, I've been accused of it, but just mainly by it being like them just deflecting, not wanting to take responsibility for their own actions and not wanting to take accountability for their stuff. And they were just like, it's me, it's me, it's me.
Yeah.
So I've had that experience before, definitely.
I was having a conversation with someone, their phone ring, and it was no big deal. They answered the phone and proceed to leave the room. But they act like, when you answer the phone, if it's a male or a female. When they were trying to tell me it wasn't what I thought I heard, what I knew I heard. And I'm like, there's no reason for you to sit here
and lie
and tell me something that I know I heard.
Right.
There's no reason.
Yeah.
You know, there's no reason for that.
And that's just manipulation, because that's just someone trying to gaslight you.
Yeah, there's no reason for that. And then to try to make me feel like I'm not being, it was me. And do you remember when you did this? Come on.
Yeah.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about, you don't even have to lie.
Deflection.
You don't have to lie about it. You just don't have to lie about, there's no reason to feel like you have to lie. That is one of my pet peeves, just lie.
Just lying for no reason.
For no reason. You don't have to lie. You don't have to lie. We are grown adults.
Yeah.
There is no reason for me to have to tell you anything other than the truth.
The truth, right. Absolutely.
And there is no reason for you to feel like you have to tell me anything other than the truth.
That's right. But people do. I don't know why people do that. I don't know if it's just a well, I will say that it's just a low vibrational frequency for sure. Lying in and of itself is it's just low. It's that energy is low,
very low,
and it's unnecessary. I think that people do it because out of fear for whatever, or out of not wanting to take responsibility for their actions, out of just surely wanting it to be someone else's fault and not their fault. It's plenty of reasons why people are, lie. It's just they're just not really good reasons, in my opinion. They're just excuses. Just tell the truth, and whatever the chips fall, however they fall, they just fall. And
we just get up and pick the pieces up, you know. But there's no reason to feel like you can't be honest and about anything. If you feel like you can't be honest with someone, then it's probably not good to be in a relationship with that person. Or you need to figure out what's going on.
Right.
Because when you can't be honest, when you can't be yourself,
yeah, that's
a problem.
Yeah, that's the key. When you can't be yourself, you feel like you can't be honest with the person that you're in a relationship with. That's problematic.
That is.
So there's no, you can't really, again, like we said on our other podcasts about communication, you can't have a relationship. That's not really a relationship without that kind of communication.
Right.
We want to, and in communication, again, is honesty. You gotta be honest. You have to be honest if you're communicating with your partner. You have to be strapping down about everything. It's not gonna be a successful relationship if you are not.
Yes.
So.
And sometimes you can be in a relationship with someone and you are like you feel the vibes and you feel their energy so strong. You can tell when they're not being honest with you. So it's best to be transparent.
It is. It's best to be transparent.
It's best to be transparent because people are so there's an awakening in the universe where a lot of people are feeling that energy that if you're not honest with them, they can feel that. And people want to be around people who are genuine.
Right.
I know I do.
Right.
So
yeah, I do too.
You want to be around people who are genuine and who make you feel like sunshine when and who inspires you and who like I said, make them feel like sunshine and they make you feel like sunshine. So it's a balance.
Yeah, it's a balance.
It's not someone just draining you. Right.
That again, that goes back to toxic relationships, toxic interactions with people. You don't. If you're around someone or with someone or involved with someone or related or dating someone or in a relationship, marriage, whatever, with someone, and you are feeling more drained, being in their presence, that's a problem.
Oh.
That's a problem. That's a true problem. Yeah, that's not good. That's nothing
It's
good about
not.
There's nothing good about that.
It's not. It's not healthy. It is. It's not healthy. It's not. It's like a cancer, and it'll eat you up inside. If you're sitting around someone who is constantly toxic with you,
Negative.
and want to bring out the worst instead of the best.
Best, yeah.
That's an environment that I promise I will never put myself in that type of environment ever again. And I make that promise to myself because I deserve better.
Absolutely. Yeah,
I deserve better.
exactly. Yeah, and that's where you have to know that for yourself in your mind. You have to know who you are. Again, that's what we talk about, knowing who you are. And that's knowing who you are is also taking responsibility and accountability for your actions.
Some people think they know who they are. They think they know who they are, and they don't have a clue.
No.
They don't have a clue, and that's not. There's not saying that there's not any hope.
No,
Just
of course
take
not.
the time.
But you can't know who you are if everything you do is blaming somebody else.
If everything is somebody else's fault, you
don't know who you are.
You don't know the steps.
It's like-
the first step of
all.
who you are.
At
You
all.
can look in the mirror all day and say I'm this, that, and the third, and you still don't know
You still
who
don't
you
know.
are.
No,
Because
we
when you know who you are, the first thing you start doing is start thinking about all the things that you've done, and you start doing some self-inventory, and it is no longer someone else's fault. No
Exactly.
one else on the outside of you can make you do or feel any way other than what you want to feel, how you want to feel.
exactly.
And when you know that,
That's it. That's the truth. You can't. No, if you're constantly blaming others, you don't know who you are. You can't be blaming others and say, "Oh, but I know me." No, you don't. You don't know. No, you don't. Not at all.
you're still in the pretend state of
Exactly.
you're still trying to figure it out.
Still trying to figure it out,
You're
yeah.
still pretending.
And then it's even deeper than that, because if you are really just staunch and I know me, I know and you're just self-righteously acting as if you never do anything wrong,
Right.
then that's when you teetering over into that narcissistic stage.
Right.
So
Oh,
period.
yeah. That
you
yeah.
know, that's when
That's
you're
a-
teetering over there.
That's
like
that
you
whole
need-
other topic.
That's another topic that we talked about before. But yeah, because take accountability for your actions. We're human beings. No one is perfect. And if you think that you are perfect and everybody else is imperfect, honey, you are not perfect.
You're not. That part right there, that thought right there,
Makes
should
you-
be a clue that
Exactly.
you're not.
At all.
You're not.
So, no.
So cut that. Stop it. Just stop it. Stop it.
Exactly.
Cut it out.
Exactly.
Cut it out.
Stop doing that. Yeah. For yourself, mainly, because truly, I will say this, that I don't want to be around people who don't know how to be self-evolved. And I don't want to be around people who are not, who don't take responsibility for their actions.
Right.
I don't want and take accountability for who they are. I don't want to be around people who think they're perfect and everything else is someone else's.
It's always someone else's fault. That person is a miserable person. Who would want to be? Because I don't want to be around you, for one, because coming around you means you're going to blame me for something.
For something.
And
Exactly.
I'd rather,
Not.
thank you.
I'd rather not be around
I'd rather
you.
not.
Because I'm not gonna let you blame me for the sky being blue when God created the sky, and you mad because
Because it's blue.
and it ain't purple like your favorite color. I mean, like, I'm not getting ready to do that, and that's an extreme example, but it's true, it's you gonna blame me if the candle is over here when you put it over here or whatever, and somebody else moved it. Really?
Yeah.
You
And it's
know,
not-
and it can get that petty though.
Yeah,
Truly,
it can get that petty, but it's not always that petty. But
Yeah,
it can get that petty.
Yeah,
You can. It can, and that is miserable.
Very much.
That's
so.
a miserable. Imagine being in a relationship with someone like that.
No. I mean, I have
said
been there.
no.
I've
not.
been there.
No.
Listen, been there, done that, bought and sold the T-shirt. I don't want it. I sold it. I'm good.
I'm good. Peace on that one.
I won't buy it again. I'm good.
Yeah.
I want to be around someone who's self-aware of who they are and can take responsibility for their self.
Yes.
Because to me, that's a person who's done some work on themselves. You know, who's done some deep thinking about themselves. You know, that's the kind of person I want to be around. I don't want to, you know, and I've had that experience where I've been around someone who's like, I'm like, wow, this person is, okay, well, so they really are evolved, you know, and I like that. That's the energy I'm talking about.
Yes.
That's the energy, that's the level I'm trying to be on, because that's where I want to be. That's my person. That's, you know, my people in that tribe. Because other than that, I don't, anything else is pretend to me.
It's pretend, and then it's like almost living a fake
existence.
Because
it is.
That person really is walking around blaming everybody else for everything.
For everything. It's that old thing, what they say, a chip on your shoulder.
Instead of doing some self-inventory and saying, I'm responsible for this. This is my fault. This is the reason why this didn't work out. This is the reason. And then they can fix it.
Right.
And do better the next time.
Yeah.
But when it's always someone else's fault, every relationship will end the same way.
It will. And the sad part about it is that I feel sorry for people like that. I feel sorry for people who don't take the time to do self-inventory and don't take the responsibility for their actions, because that's a sad existence.
It's a sad, lonely existence.
Because again, nobody wants to be around someone like that.
They don't even want to be around themselves. And usually they don't have many friends.
They don't.
They don't have any, you know, they don't have a lot of
social
people.
life.
They don't. They need someone else
Yeah.
to make them happy.
To make them happy. And then
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Because usually when they find someone else, they end up sucking the life out of that
That's what I was
person
gonna say, yeah.
that they find.
Right.
You know, it's like a energy vampire because, you know.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Or they get involved with someone unbeknownst to the person, and then that person becomes the person they get involved with becomes the person that they are manipulating or gaslighting, and it's a cycle all over. It perpetuates the cycle, and then you know a person they get tired of that. They don't want to be a part of that, and then you look up and you 65, 70 and alone because don't nobody want to fool with you. And I'm serious. I mean, like you've run everybody
you've gone
off
through your
in
whole
your life.
blaming everybody else instead of taking inventory and figuring it out that I really didn't know myself.
Exactly.
I really didn't have to live my life like this. This could have been better.
Yes, exactly.
If I'd have made some different choices.
Yes.
If I would have if I would have just been responsible and took accountability of my actions.
Yes, definitely. You know, but it's hard. It's hard in the sense that we're human beings, and so we're wrapped in this flesh, and we always, even when we want to vibrate on a higher level, sometimes we're gonna be pulled back down to a different level. A lower vibration. So we always have to strive
to pull somebody up.
Yeah.
And pull, you know, instead of being pulled down, pull the next person up to the next frequency, to the higher frequency, because I'd rather pull you up than come back down. If I'm up, I'm gonna stay up.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep my vibration up high.
Right. Yeah.
And then usually low frequency, vibrate people don't want to be around people who are on a high frequency, but a vibration frequency. They can't.
Mm-hmm.
They don't like the energy.
Right.
They don't get along with, they don't like the energy because they always got to find something, but they're drawn to you and they don't know why, because they're drawn to you, but to be in your presence too long is like, it's like, you kind of, you start to irritate them because
Right.
you're happy
Yeah.
and they're miserable.
Right. Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So, and it's not bad, because when they're involved in, when a group of people is involved with a group of people who are on that same energy level, they're all fine. Because that's
Right.
where you vibrate with.
Right. Right.
That's where you at. When you want more, you tend to vibrate on a higher frequency.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Just love. It's just love.
Yeah. Definitely. So yeah, make sure you do your self-inventory. Go deep within yourself. Take responsibility for your actions, accountability for the things that you do. Forgive yourself if need be. And if you
Forgive yourself because you have to.
yes. even if you are realizing that there are some characteristics or some character traits that you hold, or some belief systems that you hold, that you might need to revamp and think about those things, do that too. That's fine, but just take your time and, just do that deep dive within yourself.
Yes.
And I know that's sometimes that can be hard for some people, because they don't want to see the dark parts of themselves, or they don't want to accept the certain things about themselves. But it's necessary. If we are going to evolve in this world, it's necessary to do that.
It's a lot of times hard for people because they don't like to do the work, the self-inventory. They don't like to be alone with themselves. And they don't like to unmask themselves because they keep telling themselves that they're okay. I'm who I need to be. I know who I am. I'm right.
I'm fine.
I'm fine. And that's where, when you're just do the work, because I can't say that you're not fine,
Right.
but
Only you know that.
have to be honest with yourself. To thy own self be true.
Right.
And when you can honestly say that you've done the work, you've taken the veil off, and you're not afraid to be alone with yourself because you want to see who you are, then you'll find so much that you didn't know about yourself, and then you'll be ready to uncover, peel those layers off,
Right.
and discover who you really are.
Exactly. Yeah. You just have to do that, and love yourself. Love on yourself. Love all those aspects of yourself.
Love those aspects about yourself, because they are who you are. And
Yeah.
that's just it. Just love yourself. Forgive yourself. Be kind to yourself. Treat yourself. You are divinely made. You are made the perfect way that God created you for His purpose. And you can live the life that He designed for you to live, your purpose life, and flourish in it.
Exactly.
Just love yourself. Let love flow and operate through you, and forgive
Yes.
quickly.
Exactly.
Forgive and forgive quickly.
Definitely.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Yes.
And
leave a comment.
leave your comments. We enjoy reading the comments. Please share with us your comments.
Yes. And any suggestions that you might have for
Yes, we welcome
for
any
the
suggestions.
podcast. Yeah. And yeah, we love you guys, and thank you very much for watching.
Thank you for watching.
Have
Good
a good
night.
one. Good night.